Ohio Silver, the Lone Ranger.
Leander Knox. He seems to be running for re-election every time we pass this way.
Him must be plenty popular, or people not keep voting him back in office.
Never heard of this McQueen before. I like his looks, though.
Maybe that'll help you not to like him so much. I hope you got sense enough not to vote for him, mister.
Where'd you two come from?
The lion shack over there. This is part of Jeb Wesson's property. We work for him.
Jeb Wesson. He runs the bank in Waynesville, doesn't he?
That's right. You must be a pretty brave man. Travel around in broad daylight wearing that mask. I could have killed you with this knife.
Why didn't you?
Because around here, we're not interested in what a man wears on his face. All we care about is who he's voting for.
You got a vote?
I might have.
You ain't answered my question yet, mister. Are you voting for Jed Wesson's man? Or are you voting for this ornery upstart?
If Mayor Knox so good, why McQueen run on reform ticket?
Because he don't know any better, that's why, Indian. And if McQueen ain't careful, he'll find it ain't healthy to run against old man Leander.
You make this campaign sound very interesting. My friend and I certainly will want to help elect the right candidate.
Now you're talking sense.
Come on, Tonto.
We better get back to town ourselves.
What for?
What, you forgot? Wesson wants us to go into town and take care of that newspaper man. Said he's getting out of line.
Oh, yeah. Scotty Dixon.
That's
That won't be hard.
Kemo Sabe, you mean what you say just now? We help elect right candidate?
Yes.
But we have business elsewhere.
We'll have to wait, Tonto. We're needed here more. The right to vote is one of our most precious privileges, and too often it's misused. Any election, even a small one like this, can be very important.
You think Mayor Knox dishonest?
I'm afraid so, Tonto. If those men are a sample of the type of men who campaign for him,
But this McQueen feller, maybe him dishonest too.
that's something we'll have to find out. Come on.
Hold it.
All right, Bob, stay right where you are. I think your wife should be in one, too.
Sure. What's brains without beauty? Come on, honey.
Oh, I just feel silly.
Well, this town ought to be proud to have you for the mayor's wife.
Now, don't get ahead of yourself, Bob. You're not elected yet, you know.
But he will be, Scotty. I know he will.
All right, now, stay right where you are. We'll get a little flash powder in here. Be all ready. All right, hold it. Don't move. There we are. You can relax now. Before I put the paper to press, Bob, have you anything else to say?
Well, I reckon I said it all in my campaign, Scotty. I may not make the best mayor in the world, but I know I can be an honest one.
Well, that'll be a novelty after 3 terms of Knox.
Tell me, Scotty, what do you think my chances are of being elected?
How can you lose? All the people are for you.
Let Scotty answer, dear.
Well, like Kitty says, the people are for you, Bob, but sometimes that doesn't mean anything.
You figure Wesson and Knox might be up to something dirty after all.
Well, you remember the last election. Hank Sanders looked like a cinch to win until he got involved in that scandal.
We don't have to worry about a scandal in this family. Won't you stay for lunch, Scotty?
No, thanks. I'm afraid I can't.
I'm worried about you, Scotty.
Why?
Well, now that you're coming out for me in your newspaper, Wesson and Knox will be after you, too. That might mean danger.
I've been watching those grafters get away with murder too long. There comes a time when a man has to stand up against them no matter what the consequences. If you have the nerve to oppose them, I can't do any less than support you.
Thank you, Scotty. I appreciate your confidence in me.
Darling, ready for lunch?
Kitty,
Yes.
I've been thinking, if there's going to be trouble, I don't want you getting hurt. Maybe I ought to pull out while there's still time.
And let Scotty down and all the people that believe in you? No, darling, I'm not married to a quitter. I'll get it. A masked man and an Indian.
Stand back, Kitty.
Put away that gun, McQueen. We're not here to cause trouble.
That's not what that mask says. Take it off.
Sorry. I can't do that.
And I'll do it for you.
A man who use force instead of reason not make good mayor.
He's right, Bob. It isn't the mask that counts, it's what's under it. After all, Mayor Knox has been using a mask of respectability for years.
What do you want with us?
I'm interested in your campaign. You seem mighty anxious to be elected mayor.
I'm anxious in bringing good government to this town, that's all.
Mayor Knox say same thing.
Mayor Knox is a liar.
Supposing I could throw a few votes your way, would you be willing to make it worth my while?
So that's your game. Look, mister, if I'm elected mayor, it'll be by the people and not by a lot of grafting politicians. Now get out of here.
Thanks, Bob. That's just what I wanted to hear you say.
You loco, mister?
You see, I happen to believe in good government, too. But sometimes the only way to find out whether a candidate's honest is to give him a chance to be dishonest. Tonto and I would like to help you get elected.
Well, thanks. If you mean that, I wish you'd see Scotty Dixon down at his newspaper office. I'm afraid he's going to need your help a lot more than I do. He's planning an all-out expose against Jed Wesson and Mayor Knox.
An open warfare, eh? We'll get right over there. Bye, folks. Come on, Tonto.
Kitty, there's something about those two that makes me glad they're for me and not against me.
Well, Wesson doesn't waste any time, does he? Well, you can scare my helpers away, but you can't scare me.
Time for a clean sweep. Throw out the grafters. I wonder who he means, Pike.
I can't imagine.
I thought that you were smart, Dixon. Thought you had sense enough to pick the winning side.
That's just what I've done.
Well, a winner always gets a reward. Here's yours. A big reward. Let's go to work.
Trying to put the paper out of business, eh?
Yeah. What do you want?
The editor. Where is he?
He ain't feeling so well.
2 against 1. Brave, aren't you? Tell your boss, Mr. Wesson, you can't silence the truth just by breaking up a newspaper office. Now get out.
Them not feel so brave now, running like scared rabbits.
I don't know who you two are, but I'm sure glad you came when you did.
Come on, Mr. Dixon. You have a paper to print.
Yes? It's the mayor, Mr. Weston. He wants to see you. Let him come in.
Morning, Jez, my boy, morning.
Greetings, Your Honor. What's on Your Honor's mind?
Did you see what that no-account Scotty Dixon said about me in his paper this morning? Why, he called me a conniving old windbag.
That's nothing to what he called me.
Well, you gonna let him get away with it?
Don't worry, Your Honor. A couple of my boys are down in his office right now, taking care of him.
Good. But just the same, Jed, my boy, I'm worried.
I thought I told you let me do the worrying.
Yes, I know. But Bob McQueen's waging a mighty fine campaign, and all the people are for him.
Now, what's that matter? The people were all for Hank Sanders 4 years ago, and yet it was you they elected.
Yes, but that's because you got Hank involved in the last-minute scandal. If you got a plan to take care of Bob McQueen, you better use it fast.
Are you telling me how to run your campaign?
Why, of course not, Jed, my boy, of course not. But we just don't have much time.
Well, I'll make my own time, and I'm sick of having you waste it. Now, get out.
Just a minute, Mr. Weston's busy.
We gotta see him.
Come in, close that door. Well, I thought I told you two fellas to stay away from here.
This is important, boss. We gotta see you.
Why, did you bungle the newspaper job?
Well, we couldn't help it. 2 guys we hadn't counted on, why, they barged in on us.
Oh, who were they?
A couple of strangers. We never saw them before. A masked man and an Indian.
A masked man and an Indian. Yeah, you're right, Your Honor. We haven't got much time. If strangers are horning in, we gotta act fast. We'll wash up Bob McQueen right now.
But how, Jed?
Very simply. With these.
Watch fob and a wedding ring.
Say, there's initials on it. RMQ. Say, ain't that Bob McQueen's?
That's right, Frank, my boy. He doesn't know it, but he lost it at the election rally last week.
What's this ring?
Now, that happens to be an exact duplicate of the wedding ring Kitty McQueen wears. 2 hearts on a band of gold.
But I don't understand, Jed. What are you going to do with them?
I'll tell you, Mayor. Every afternoon about 2 o'clock, Kitty McQueen goes out to do her marketing. This afternoon, when she's gone, Bob McQueen is going to hold up this bank.
Oh, you're crazy, boss. Bob McQueen would die before he turned bank robber.
Not the way I got it planned.
Oh, I thought you'd left already.
Not yet. Just checking up on what I needed. How's the speech coming?
Nearly done. This one's got to be a corker.
I'm sure it will be. I'll be back in an hour.
All right. My friends of Waynesville, for 3 terms now, you've submitted to the graft and corruption of Jed Weston's political machine. I, for one, will not submit any longer. The time has come when we must choose between courage and cowardice, between right and wrong.
Sounds real pretty, McQueen. Your gun won't do you no good.
What is this?
If I was you, McQueen, I'd do just as I was ordered. Now sit down and write what I tell you.
You work for Jed Weston, don't you? Well, I don't take orders from any crook stooge. Now get out of here. Now beat it.
Whatever you say, McQueen. Shall I take this with me?
Where did you get that ring?
Where do you think?
But it's Kitty's. See, she just left the house.
Yeah. Too bad she didn't get where she was going.
Where is she? What have you done with her?
Take it easy, McQueen. You won't find out that way. You got nothing to worry about. If you write what I tell you.
All right. What do you want me to write?
That's better. Go over to the desk. Put this down. Kitty, darling.
Kitty.
You heard me. Write it. Our plan has worked perfectly.
What plan?
Write it. I got away with more than we ever hoped for.
More of what?
Write it. I'm taking it out of town until the excitement blows over. I'll be back as soon as possible. Now sign it. It's good. Real good.
Hey, wait a minute. This wedding band is brand new. There's not a scratch on it. It couldn't belong to my wife.
Couldn't it?
So that's it. Oh, you dirty rat. This letter was all just a trick.
Leave it there. Now get going.
Where are you taking me?
That's my business.
If Jed Weston thinks he can win an election this way, he's in for a big disappointment. My friends will look for me till they find me.
Yeah? Well, they can find you right this minute. Over at the bank. Come on.
You'll make a sound or I'll shoot. Hand me that gold. Come on. That's enough. Make one false move before I'm out of here, and it'll be your last. Understand?
McHugh. Mr. Weston! Mr. Weston!
Well, we have enough copies for just about everyone in town now.
The more the better, Scotty. It took courage to write this editorial. Now maybe it'll give courage to people who want to vote for Bob McQueen.
Kemo Sabe.
What is it, Tonto?
Me just passed Jed Weston's bank. Plenty trouble there. Then say Bob McQueen hold it up.
Bob McQueen? You must be wrong. He wouldn't do such a thing.
Them lose watch fob involved. Initials on it.
Bob McQueen robbing a bank, it just doesn't make sense.
It makes too good sense, Scotty. Jed Weston couldn't have planned it any better.
Mayor and Weston on way to McQueen's house now with sheriff.
We better get there fast. Come on.
Mayor Knox. Mr. Weston. What are you doing here?
We came with the sheriff, ma'am. He's out rounding up a posse.
A posse? What for?
To look for your husband, Mrs. McQueen.
Bob, why, he was just here when I left.
I suppose you're going to tell us that you didn't know my bank was just robbed.
Why, no, I didn't. Who did it?
Your husband, Mrs. McQueen.
My husband. Why, that's a lie.
No. He was careless enough to drop this watch fob. This is his, isn't it?
Yes, that's Bob's. But it's been missing for at least a week.
Then he couldn't have lost it today.
Who are these men, Dixon?
They're here to see that Mrs. McQueen gets justice.
I doubt she'll get very much justice from a masked man and an Indian.
More than she's gotten from you, Wesson.
Scotty, they say that Bob held up the bank.
No, Mrs. McQueen, Bob himself says it. It's too bad you didn't get back a little sooner. Then you might have been able to destroy this letter here before the sheriff saw it.
Letter?
This doesn't make sense, Wesson. Why should an honest young lawyer suddenly turn against the people who love him and become an outlaw?
Perhaps if Mrs. McQueen had taken us to her husband, he could answer that for us.
But I don't know where he is. And that knife, why, it isn't even Bob's. Someone else has been here.
And this letter. I suppose you're going to tell us that's not in your husband's handwriting. I've seen his signature too often, Mrs. McQueen.
Yes, it is Bob's handwriting. That's what I don't understand.
Well, I hardly think we need more proof than that. Your Honor, it's your duty to have this outlaw apprehended.
Just a minute. You're behind this, Wesson. I don't know how you've done it, but you pulled the same trick at the last election.
Well, if you really believe that, mister, I suggest you persuade McQueen to come back and prove his innocence. That oughtn't to be hard. Meanwhile, you can't expect people to vote for a man who just robbed a bank and run away with their savings. Let's go, Mayor.
But I don't understand. That letter in Bob's handwriting.
He could have been forced to write it.
Forced.
A man like Wesson have plenty ways to trick enemy.
But what can I do? Where is Bob?
It's possible that Wesson's men are holding him prisoner until after the election.
Well, isn't there any way we can find him?
Tonto, haven't we seen this knife before?
Yes, Kemo Sabe. In tree by line shack.
Why, of course. One of Wesson's men put it there. That line shack interests me. Come on.
Well, wait a minute. You're not going to leave me behind, are you?
Scotty, you have a newspaper to print. Have you forgotten?
Anything you say, mister.
Don't worry, Mrs. McQueen. Bob may still have a chance to win that election. You know what to do now.
Me watch for Wesson's men.
When you hear trouble, come fast. Go ahead.
Hiya, boss. Everything go off all right?
Couldn't be better. Our magnificent windbag just can't lose.
Now, look here, Jed. I don't like being
Do you
called
have any trouble with McQueen?
Trouble. Well, he was meek as a kitten. Frank's keeping an eye on him over there at the shack.
Meek as a kitten, huh? And I think I'll just take a look at him now that he's not feeling so high and mighty.
Fine mare you'd make. Can't even sit in a chair.
Stop there.
Now, just a minute, Redskin. We ain't got nothing against you.
Don't shoot me, Injun. I'm not to blame. It was Jed Wesson. He's behind everything.
Him tricked Bob McQueen to write false letter?
That's right. It was all his idea. I'll tell you everything.
That was a sweet fight, mister. The real fight's the one you're going to win, Bob. The election.
McQueen wins in landslide vote. Wesson and Knox indicted for fraud. You know, that's the sweetest headline I ever wrote. Well, Bob, you did it. Wesson and Knox are out for good.
Oh, Bob, I knew you could do it.
Yes, I'm quite a fellow. Got myself elected without a bit of help from anybody.
Don't worry. I'm not forgetting that he wouldn't be in office if it weren't for you two.
You don't owe us any thanks, Mrs. McQueen. But, Bob, you do owe the people good government.
And I aim to see that they get it.
Good. Well, our work's done here.
Wait. Aren't you even going to tell us who you are?
My name's not important. Come on, Tonto. Adios.
Who is he, and what's his business?
His business is justice. You see, he's the Lone Ranger.